Please mute all microphones. All right, welcome everyone again to Webinar Wednesday. Today we will be talking about diversity. This is our diversity recruitment webinar, Voices of K12. And very excited for everyone who is here today. We have a lot of information that we're going to go over. So again, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat box. Today is going to be a little bit different as far as our flow. So we'll basically be going over who K12 is, who K12 is, how to apply to K12, and go over frequently asked questions that we typically receive. And then we'll talk about our employee resource groups and just hear from some voices from K12 and ask them a couple of questions and whatnot. And then after that, we will have remarks from our Director of Diversity and Inclusion, Celeste Chatman, and then we'll wrap up for today. And again, if you're just joining, please be sure to mute your microphone, just so we don't have any background noise. And again, we are recording this, so we just don't want to have any other background. All right, so who is K12? We have started in 2000. And we've been here for 20 years, and we're the nation's leading provider of online curriculum and support services for grades K through 12. We help students reach their full potential through inspired teaching and personal. Our goal is basically to provide children with an education that is comparable or superior to that provided by the nation's best public and private schools, regardless of constraints. And as far as who K12 supports, we provide tuition-free online public schools, tuition-based online private schools, and we also provide individual online courses from the K12 curriculum. Now, as far as our schools, we're in more than 30 states, and we offer full-time, online, and blended public schools. And we have currently over 400 opportunities to apply with. So if you go on our website, K12 Careers, it'll ask you, where do you see yourself? That's school staff or corporate, and that's where we have over 400. That's including both schools and corporate positions. Now, as far as applying to K12, what you would want to do is go into our website, which is www.k12.com/careers. And from there, you will select, you can select your state that you're looking for. That will bring up all the positions that you would be interested in. Make sure if you are interested in a corporate position, you would click on the corporate icon. If you're interested in school positions, click on the school icon. You'll scroll through the job boards and you can review those positions. You can also include, you can create a job alert, just so as you're checking periodically, it can tell you the new jobs that have occurred and which ones that you can now apply to. So feel free to apply to more than one position. You're not limited to just applying to one position. And be sure to check back periodically, as we do have opportunities that arrive on our website daily. Now, I just want to bring up some questions that we typically get that I'll put up on the screen. A lot of times we get, because we are a education company, we primarily hire teachers. The biggest questions that we get are, what are the requirements to be a K12 teacher? And one of the the top requirements would be that you must have a teacher certification in the state where you work and live. The subject also must match the roles you apply for as well. And we also, for those that aren't a teacher, a lot of times we're asking, well, if I don't teach, can I still work here? Yes, you can work for K12 if you're not a teacher. We do have advisor roles, we have enrollment consultant roles, and paraprofessionals. And again, we also have our corporate side. We're headquartered in Herndon, Virginia, which is where I work. I know due to us all being working from home, I'm in my home, but we do offer corporate roles as well. So from marketing to finance, product development, enrollment, IT. So we have a lot of different roles that you could apply for. And also, we also listed as far as our K12 benefits. A lot of our roles are full-time. We do offer part-time opportunities. I do want to give Mikhail just a second to, if you could just expound on the Keystone positions for those that are just to give some insight to that.
So Keystone, primarily located in Pennsylvania, but you can be certified in any state and apply to their positions. Learning Solutions is another department in which you can be certified in another state and live in another state. So if you're in a state that does not have job openings, especially teacher job openings, that you are interested in, but you still are interested in joining, make sure that in maybe your keyword search, you type in Keystone or Learning Solutions, and those will bring up some of the positions where you don't have to necessarily reside in that state, just be certified in that state. So just keep that in mind. I'll also put it in the chat.
Thanks, Mikhail. Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you, Mikhail. So we're going to move on to our employee resource groups and just give you a definition of what those are. 1 second. All right, so the employee resource groups that we have at K12, we currently have Build, WOW, which is Women Empowering Women, VIA, which is Veterans in Action, and we have K12 Proud. We do have another employee resource group that will also be joining us as well. But these are our current employee resource groups that we offer. And anyone in our company can join these groups. They are not inclusive just to that particular group. Anyone is welcome to join. So to move towards our voices from K12, I want to introduce some of the people that will be talking today. And we have Jaquita Brown, Leslie Hutchins, Mikhail Jackson, and Jennifer Rios. And these are just a few of the employees that work at our company, and we wanted to just showcase some of those people here, just so you can hear from people that work at K12. As we, again, our webinar being Diversity and Recruitment, we want to give you a chance to just hear from some employees that work here as a way to give you an idea of if this company will be a good fit for you. All right, so let me just getting my notes. So again, very excited to moderate this portion of our webinar, just so we can hear some diverse perspectives and voices from K12. So to get started, I wanted everyone to introduce themselves, our speakers, just to share your name, where you're coming in from today, how long you've been with K12, and also what has kept you here long term. And I'm gonna go by as we have people on our PowerPoint. So we're gonna start with Jaquita. If you could just introduce yourself, where you're calling from, how long you've been with K12, and what has kept you here.
Hi, everyone. I am Jaquita Brown, as she mentioned. I am a fifth grade math teacher at Louisiana Virtual Charter Academy. I am entering into my second year with K12. And I am returning to K12. I love, of course, K12. There is the flexibility that comes with it, with being a teacher, just competitive pay. And also I love just, it's just such a positive environment, positive place to work, as well as the professional development that K12 offers. It's amazing. Just the opportunities for advancement, as well as just the autonomy that we have as teachers. So that's a little bit about why, I will be returning to K12, obviously, because I've just had a pleasant first year experience with K12, and I'm still learning more about K12, but more and more positive things are continuing to develop. So.
Thanks, Jaquita. Leslie, introduce yourself for us.
Sure. So I'm Leslie Hutchings. I'm a senior analyst on our corporate development and strategy team. That team focuses on mergers and acquisitions, investments, and strategic partnerships. I've been at K12 for 5 years, in the education space for about 10 years. I'm personally really motivated by companies whose mission is to expand access to quality education. I think right now the idea that education is the equalizer in society is not actually a reality for many. Your zip code often determines what the quality of education you receive, and ultimately your future prospects. So I was really drawn to K12 because they found a way to harness the power of technology to offer opportunities across zip codes, give an alternative to those whose other schooling options are failing them for whatever reason. And I continue to be motivated by and excited about K12 because we're continuously trying to improve and expand upon what we're doing, whether it's partnerships to help students explore potential career paths, working with districts to develop blended online and in-person offerings, or even using artificial intelligence to help scaffold learning within our technology platforms. There's always something big happening, and that's what keeps me here and excited about K12.
Thanks, Leslie. Mikhail, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Michael Jackson. I am in human resources. I'm a recruiter. I've been here for 7 years, and I can say what definitely brought me here is what's keeping me here. It's definitely been an experience. It's definitely grown over the last 7 years that I've been here. And one of the things that, mainly just brought me here was that I just wanted to feel a need for myself to just really be involved with children. I do feel as though I'm one of the first steps for them, in the sense that I am picking out their teacher and, sending them to managers. I'm looking at the staff. I get to ask myself every day, what I want this teacher or this administrative person for my children. And that's a very personal question for me because I guess of how the sense of education that I have and just the importance of it. I do have a deep passion for it. It's really unexplainable on how K12 has really come together to just really dive into students on all different realms, whether it's, ones that are having trouble in school, ones that just need more of a personalized attention, just all of the things, especially now that we're going through COVID, just different things that we're going through. So every year I just experience something different within K12, and that's literally what brought me here, and that's literally what's keeping me here. It's definitely a good experience.
Thanks, Mikhail. Jen?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Rios. Sorry, false advertisement there with my photo. I'm a hot mess right now. I've been back-to-back meetings, so I haven't had a break. I hope everyone is doing very good today. I joined K12 because I wanted to make a difference in education for students. I am a service-disabled veteran. I was in the Army for 13 years. I did one tour in Afghanistan and Iraq, Kuwait, and Qatar for 8.5 months. I was medically discharged due to some issues that I had neurologically. So what I wanted to do was come to K12 and help create a military pathway and an employee resource group for veterans and military spouses, as well as to help educate, train other employees at K12 about veterans and maybe some of the disabilities that they may have, education benefits, as well as for the students to help create and design a military pathway, because there are students who still want to join the military. So it is very near and dear to my heart, and I plan to launch that with the Employee Resource Group Veterans in Action, as you can see behind me. It has over 60 members now, and we are really excited about it, and I really enjoy working at K12 because it allows me to help bring the veterans to light. So thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer, and also thank you for your service as well. So after we've had our introductions, I want to talk a little about belonging. And here at K12, we have a community of belonging, is what we've have termed it for K12. And I wanted to share that definition as it pertains to K12. Community of belonging that defines our commitment to a diverse and inclusive workforce. Our community provides an open invitation to all of our colleagues to bring their whole and true selves to work. And this is why I was excited to have our different employees to come on to speak and share about their experience working with K12, just to reiterate that we really are trying to build that community. And to those that are interested in working at K12, that's something that we are improving daily. So as far as belonging, I wanted to ask, one second. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So I wanted to ask if each those that want to share in our panel how they have experienced a sense of belonging at K12. And I know, Leslie, that you have felt passionate about having a voice at K12. So if you wanted to, could you talk about your experience with that?
Absolutely, yeah. So to me, having a voice at a company as big as K12 is not about having like a direct channel to the CEO or even a platform to speak to all employees. It's more about like the feeling that your ideas and experiences matter and there's opportunities to affect change. When I first got to K12, I was still pretty green in my career and honestly like really intimidated by the size of the company, and so pretty much kept my head down for the first year. And I've had several experiences that helped me find my voice at K12, and I'll share one because I thought it was pretty powerful. A few years ago, I heard someone talking about K12's maternity leave policy, which was at the time kind of minimum FMLA standards. And just knowing that all studies point to the fact that good maternity policies help with recruitment and retention of female employees, and overall wellness and health of employees. I brought this back to the Women's Resource Group, which we'll talk about in a bit, and expressed that, hey, we should take a stand on this. This is something that affects us, and we want to foster a great place for females to work. So we formed a task force. We did a ton of research. We put together a pitch of what we wanted the plan to look like, and we ultimately ended up presenting it to our CFO. I wasn't sure what to expect as a response. It was kind of the first time I feel like I really kind of stood up to advocate for something in this environment, and was really met with unambiguous support from start to end, and ended up resulting in adopting a policy that's even better than what we had hoped. Really, it now is inclusive of maternity, paternity, adoptive parent leave, and it's much more industry standard, and ultimately supports the health and well-being of our families. So the employee resource groups are one channel to have a voice at K12, but there's a lot of other ones. Departments have their own ways of making sure good ideas are heard, concerns are responded to. So I do feel like K12 is a place where you have a voice.
Thank you, Leslie. And thank you for sharing that story. Thank you. And I want to still touch on our employee resource groups and give those that are a part of our different ones a chance to tell us about it. If each person could talk about their ERG involvement, how you got involved, started the ERG, and how it's impacted your experience at K12. And Leslie, if you wanted to start with yours, and then we'll go down the line.
Happy to, yeah. So Women Empowering Women was one of the first employee resource groups to come up. I joined just as a member because I was really inspired by the mission. The group is dedicated to supporting the advancement of women in their careers at K12. And they do that through, one, building a network within the larger employee base, providing opportunities for mentorship for female employees, which is a really important piece of support, and providing educational experiences and providing avenues to advocate for changes at K12 to increase our feeling of belonging. So we've done a number of events and initiatives. We had an author, she wrote, Dolly Chug, she wrote the book, The Person You Mean to Be, How Good People Fight Bias. She came and spoke to all of K12 about, how to be an ally and to be an agent of change. We also partnered with an organization called She Should Run to discuss the lack of female representation in elective office, how to combat that and encourage other women to run for office. So we host a range of opportunities to engage with women across the network. I currently chair our networking committee, and even in remote times, we're still putting on events. We have one in 2 weeks. We're getting to know one of K12's senior vice presidents, who's a female, and hear a bit about her trajectory.
Thanks, Leslie. And Mikhail, can you share about your involvement with BUILD?
I sure can. So BUILD stands for Blacks for Unity, Inclusion, Leadership, and Diversity. But we are open for any race, gender, whatever you identify with, we are open to everyone. We formed in 2017. It was 10 of us total. And again, with BUILD, we were one of the first ERGs to be created. This was a very important thing to do within our leadership, and they were very supportive. So I have to mention that, the K12 leadership here is very supportive of teams that want to be created, ERGs that want to be created, and for diversity overall. One of the reasons why I wanted to join it is because I wanted to be a part of a movement within K12 that I thought would be beneficial and it would be personal to me. I wanted to help create more diversity awareness within K12 and within the organization, but not only create it, just, again, be supportive in creating it. A lot of people ask about how to move around in K12. So one of the things that we did partner with WOW is to even create a platform for people to be able to ask questions, see how you do it. We've started a mentorship program. And so I wanted to be a part of a lot of those programs because it did help people just, move around and become more comfortable within not only their position, but wanting to move up. So that was also an important reason on why I joined. Again, because I am on the HR side, it allows me to give input from the HR side, a personal side, and a BUILD side. So I feel like it's, I can really come from 3 points of it. again, going off of what Leslie said, we partner a lot with WOW. So a lot of our events are together, and I just want to mention a few of the things that Build does. We support local minority businesses. For instance, we've had a food truck come in and give samples, or people can buy food. So we're really big at supporting local businesses. We give giveaways during graduation. We donate to the Boys and Girls Club. I want to say last year, maybe the year before, we did the Boys and Girls Club in DC, in Washington, DC. We have the speaker series. So we definitely promote your mental health, your heart health, and we make sure that we get the message and information out to the employees so that they can, again, live a better life, and especially, again, during this time. Black History Month, of course, it's, a month that we really move forward in, and we send out information weekly for you to have, or for you to learn from. So everyone always enjoys that. We send cars to senior facilities so that they won't feel so alone. So they get our cars, and they really enjoy hearing from us, and it makes their day. And again, the mentorship program. So that's just, some of the few things that we do, but there's just such progress that comes from it every year. And again, since 2007, we've been supported by our executive leadership so much. So definitely K12 has had a voice in all of this, and I can say that I'm very proud to be part of the organization for that.
Thanks, Mikhail. And Jen, if you could tell us more about Veterans in Action and how you started VERG.
So unlike some of these groups that you've heard about today, we are brand new. We are about to hold our second meeting this month. And in our ERG, we, like many of these groups, are focused around the mental health of employees at K12. I specifically focus on PTSD due to, obviously, to my service. And, educating people about working with people that have PTSD. We also are focused on some of the trainings that we're trying to put together across some of the other groups with WOW. We're collaborating with them for things like active shooter policy and CPR training and things like that. We're looking to do a little bit more hands-on with some of the employees, just so that way they have the kind of like some of the domain knowledge that a normal veteran would carry, basic combat life skills, to help people in the office in case there was something that was going on, we could assist right away. We're also focused on, helping veterans transition from the military and coming into the corporate lifestyle. It is a huge transition. In the military, we have 4 outfits and we know what to wear at 6 a.m., 5 p.m. We know every outfit. In the corporate world, not so much. It's pretty stressful, guys, believe it or not. You got to fix your hair, do your makeup, etc. It's the pick out the outfit. But we have table talks. We're looking forward to having discussions. We're also looking forward to having guest speakers to come and talk about the different areas that military spouses have, deal with, like transitioning, even for them, because they move from base to base, and sometimes transitioning their students as well, their children, from one state to another, different policies. And K12 is working on that with me and some of the other folks here. We are open to the VIA is open to all employees across K12. Most of our members are actually military brats, or they have a spouse and that has served in the military, or their parents have served in the military. So it's really awesome for us to collaborate. We're looking at sending cards and care packages overseas. We're looking at donating lightly used business clothes out to veterans within our community. So there's just so much we're rolling out. And again, we're offered to second meeting officially, and we've already put a big dent in some of the action items that we're going to take charge and do this year. So really looking forward to some of you. If you join K12, we are definitely open and looking for hands-on training and some highly motivated high-speed soldiers, veterans, to join us. And that's kind of the VIA in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Now, I want to shift a little and talk about the virtual nature of our work and how it affects a sense of belonging and connection. And so I want to ask Jaquita if you could give us, just share your experience as a virtual teacher with us, and how you build connections with your students, and as well as just your overall, how your first year teaching went.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll say, so my first year of teaching, I had a really great year. In the beginning, there was so much training to get you acclimated to the online world. There's a whole training portal with trainings on everything that you will encounter as a virtual teacher. So I definitely felt prepared going into my school year. And I would just say too, teaching children, I feel like, because, no child is the same. So you have to be innovative with that. And K12, I have never worked in a place where my ideas to innovate have been so welcomed and accepted to move kids forward. So that was just a very pleasant outlet for, this was just a very pleasant outlet for me this year. And so, and I've never worked at a place where that has been so welcomed. But then also continuing, like I mentioned earlier, just the professional development at the end of every 9 weeks, the promise and practices, professional development that was presented to us, tons of sessions to go to, anything pretty much that you would want to know more about. You pick those sessions, you go. It's just very encouraging. Everyone's just in it together. Everyone's ideas are always welcomed. You're learning from each other. The culture of collaboration is just amazing. So that definitely all of that definitely aided in my me having a very successful first year. My best friend has worked for K12 for 5+ years. So, that in itself speaks a lot of just, how much just speaks positively about K12 by her working, 5+ years. And a lot of people think that, coming to a virtual setting, you're not able to make a difference in the lives of students. But that was also one thing that I was able to do in my first year, and I was able to just find different ways, you just have an avenue of creativity to just find different ways, things that were implemented in brick and mortar. Okay, how do I implement that in a virtual setting? And I was able to, make a difference in students' lives. One thing that I implemented this past year was I had Talk to Me Tuesdays. So on Tuesdays when students would log in, Desmos is another another website that we kind of use to communicate with students. And so I say, tell me in Desmos, I wish my teacher knew, and fill in the blank. And so they would fill in the blank. And I found out so much about them that I would, once I found out those things about them, I would incorporate that in my lessons, in my slides, in conversation. So it was definitely just a positive experience, and I was able to also make a difference in a virtual setting.
Okay, there's some people that are asking, did you start just in virtual, or did you do brick and mortar before?
No, this coming year is going to be my 12th year in education, my second year with K12. So I spent 10 years in brick and mortar. And I can say this has been, for me as a creative person, innovative thinker, this has been just, out of all of my experience, the virtual setting has been the most fulfilling for me.
And can you tell us real quick what's the same, what's different? I'm sure that's everybody's top.
What's the same, what's different? For sure, one big component that is different is that you speak with parents more. You have the opportunity to, because the parents are the students' learning coaches. So you have the opportunity, parents are sitting in classes. So you also have the opportunity to educate parents as well as the students at the same time. So that's it's different in a sense because you are communicating with parents more, but it's a plus. I guess as far as what's same and what's different, as far as, I guess, what angle do you want me to focus in on that question?
I guess there are things in brick and mortar that you can't do online, and so you have to be innovative and think
Yes.
about.
Yeah. So, obviously there are a lot of things that you don't have to, deal with that you would in brick and mortar, like recess duty, lunch duty. You don't have to think about those things. One thing that I did have to praise to Desmos that I'm still able to do is academic feedback. Students working in Desmos, like in a brick and mortar, how you walk around and you give feedback and you give feedback in the moment. With that, through the use of Desmos, you're able to see the students working online. And so I'm still able to give that academic feedback, but that was also one way that, you have to be creative and innovative to kind of make those things work. And so I think there are a lot of things in brick and mortar that can still be implemented in the virtual world, but you just kind of have to be a little more innovative with it. I'm trying to think of what else off the cuff.
I'll ask
Uh-huh.
if you could just give a day, what a day looks like.
Okay.
For virtual, because I know that's another question.
Another question, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at my school, our schedule, we have 3 classes a day. So my first class is at 8:30. So I'll do my class. It's a 55-minute session. And so I have my first group of students, and we'll have like a 15-minute break in between, and then the next class. And then we might have like a 20-minute break. It just varies based on the needs of the school. So, but we have 3 classes with breaks in between, and they are like 50 to 55-minute sessions. And like I said, this is my school. Some schools are different, but every day we have those sessions. And so, and after those sessions on Monday, my class, Monday is this day for small groups for my subject, which is math. And so on Mondays, I would have 2 sessions of small group, 30-minute sessions, and that's based on the need. That's whoever, is welcome to come to get just some extra assistance. Assistance is kind of like office hours. Those students can come and receive some assistance. And that's on Monday. And then I also spend another chunk of my time communicating with parents, just positively, just communicating, making sure that we're on the same page, that they understand what the expectations are for the week. And I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything, but that's my day. Once a week, we teach Monday through Thursday. We don't teach on Friday. Friday is our day for PLC, professional development. And yeah, so that's like what it's like in a nutshell.
Thank you. I know, and we get, and again, to like reiterate, that's, each school is different. So I don't want, I want everyone to know that it can vary for the different schools. But thank you for sharing that, because I know we get a lot of people that ask, well, what is that like teaching? Because sometimes we may have people that this is their first time teaching online, and they may be intimidated. So we have people that came from brick and mortar and moved to virtual teaching, and then we have some people that have started teaching and they were just on virtual. We produced an event where we actually had a teacher that went to a K12 school, and then after graduating became a K12 teacher, which after they did their necessary schooling to get their license and everything like that, and then became a K12 teacher. So there's different paths that people have, but which is again why we wanted to have this today, to show all the different voices and experiences, to encourage different people that are interested in working with us, that you should apply. And we embrace the different stories that people bring, and the different skill sets that you offer to us. Now, before we before I bring on our director for diversity and inclusion, my last question for the panel would be, think back to when you first applied to K12, and what would you tell yourself when you first applied? Like, what advice would you give yourself to those that are wanting to apply to our site? Like, if you could go back, what would you tell yourself applying? Like, what advice would you give them? Oops, let me go back to that page. And if Jaquita, if you want to, I know this, you just finished your first year.
Yeah, I guess applying, honestly, I had applied, I would say keep applying, continue to apply. I applied to K12 maybe like 2 years before I actually before a position became available at the school that I'm now working at. I'm very passionate about great math, and so that's what I wanted to kind of to stay in that vein. So I would say keep applying, and something, you know, eventually it's going to come up. However, I will say also be open and be flexible. I was initially hired for a 3rd grade position, and I was like, all right, I just want to get my foot in the door. So I accepted that position, and within 1 week, something in 5th grade opened up for me. So I would definitely say be open and flexible, and continue to apply.
Thanks, Jaquita. Now, Leslie and Michaela, I know you all have been here for some years, but what advice would you give for anyone that is wanting to apply to K12? What would you give as advice to them?
Jay had a great response. The only thing I would add is that just K12 is a public company, which means there's a lot of information out there about us. And so doing as much research as you can to understand, you know, the states, the regulations, there's just a ton of information out there about the company. And so being able to come in and show that you're able to ramp up really quickly would be like a great selling point.
Thanks, Leslie.
Can I touch on that really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of people are wondering, you know, how long does it take to hear back? What's the secret into getting into K12? It's really to just keep applying. We get a lot of applications. We review. We do not forget about you. So don't think that as you're applying that we're not seeing you. We do see you. But the best advice we can give is to just keep applying. There's really no secret. There's no specific person that you need to contact. It's just that, you know, there's a lot of people out there applying for the same position sometimes, and you may not be able to get the first position that you apply for, but you never know about that second or third. So just, you know, just keep on trying, because eventually we do see people get in, and it was definitely worth it. And you know, again, I just see a lot of questions on, you know, how can I get my foot in? How can I get noticed? We really have no secret answer to that.
Thanks, Mikhail. So now, I heard something in the background. Okay, so now I want to bring up our Director of Diversity and Inclusion, Celeste Chatman. I'm really excited to just have her to introduce herself to us and just share her experience as she's come on to work for K12 and what we can expect to see in the future for diversity and inclusion for K12.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Celeste Chatman, as Andrea mentioned. I'm seeing all the amazing comments in the chat. I've seen a lot of questions around what's it like to work at K12. So my role as the Diversity Inclusion Director is, you may be saying to yourself, what does that mean? So the diversity part is making sure that we you know, that the folks who work for K12 are diverse, and making sure that our workforce is diverse so that we can support the students that we teach. So that's the D part. The I part is, do you feel included? Do you feel like you're a part of an organization that I think Leslie said it so eloquently, makes you feel like you belong and makes you feel like you have a voice in this organization. We have lots of initiatives that we're working on right now. When I think about my journey at K12, I'm new to the organization. I just started in November, so it hasn't been a long time at all. But I'm not new to the diversity and inclusion space. I've been doing this work for about 20 years, give or take. And, you know, I've seen a lot of organizations, large organizations that I've been in, you know, in the pharma space, in the tech space, telecom, you know, they all have these large initiatives around diversity and inclusion. What I would say is, do they walk the talk? And I can definitely say at K12, we walk the talk. I believe someone said, I can't remember who, that our senior leadership, I think it was Leslie, is very supportive of the work that we do around diversity and inclusion. So if you think about internally what my role is, it's to help our staff understand unconscious bias and make sure that we're all treating each other with respect and dignity, regardless of, you know, where we come from, what our life experience has been, what our cultural backgrounds are, and even what our thoughts on a lot of different things based on our lived experience. So building awareness, making sure that we educate our colleagues about differences, right? Because we all have them. We're all different. We have different backgrounds, different perspectives. And making sure that this is an exciting place to work, honestly. You know, one of the things that I want to make you think about is, you know, salary is important. The role of a teacher and other roles that we have are important. But where do you want to work? What place will make you feel excited to come to work every day? You know, outside of the work that you're doing, having some amazing colleagues that you can you know, connect with, who are supportive, having leadership that's supportive. That is the space that we're trying to build at K12. And so while you're thinking about opportunities, I want you to think about that. You may pursue another opportunity that's going to pay you $1 more, but is the culture good, right? So it's just something to think about as you're considering opportunities. This is a great culture. I love it. Been here 7 months, have worked many places. And I can say that we all work very, very hard, but it's a great place to learn and grow and be the person that you want to be the professional that you want to be. I think we have a lot of room to share our perspectives and our opinions in our community of belonging, which Drea was talking about earlier. That is one of the tenets of it, is making sure that everybody can express their voice. And you know, if you're not feeling like you can express your voice, or you're not feeling like you are being heard, you have a place to go to, which is me, my office. You have a place to go to help you kind of navigate who to share your voice with. So this was an amazing event. I want to thank the People Experience team for putting this on. This was really, really great. I hope you all will apply for opportunities. Hopefully you have the certification necessary, but if you don't, keep applying. There are support roles out there as well. So if you don't possess the certification now, definitely apply for those types of roles, and then you'll get your foot in the door for a teaching role. So we encourage everyone to submit their applications. We encourage everyone to be excited about the community that we're building, and we were excited to talk to you today. So thank you for your participation.
Thank you, Celeste. And I want to thank our speakers as we give our final thoughts. Again, apply on our website, www.k12.com. I forgot the // careers, and we'll put that in the chat box as well. And also, to see more events like this, please sign up to join our K12 community. We'll put that link in the chat box as well, just so you can see more. You can let us know what it is you want to see more of. That also helps us as well when we're putting on this type of and also be sure to follow us at K12 Careers. But I do want to thank Leslie Hutchins. I wanted to thank Mikhail Jackson, Celeste Chatman, Jay, Jaquita Brown, as well as Jennifer Rios, for sharing your experience, sharing your stories today. I know we covered a lot of information. Please know we did record this, and we'll be sending this out to those that have registered for the event today. We try to do that within a week or so. So I'll be looking for that. But without further ado, I want to thank everyone for attending Webinar Wednesday today. Again, I am your host and moderator, Andrea Wilson, and we will look to see you next time for our next event. Bye, everybody.